Tonight, you're going to open your banking app and avoid looking at one number. You know which one. The savings goal you set in January. The one that hasn't moved. But here's the strange part. The reason it hasn't moved isn't laziness. It's biology. Right now, somewhere in your skull, a structure the size of an almond is treating your grocery budget like a famine. It doesn't know the difference between a missed paycheck and a missed meal. To your brain, both mean the same thing. You might not survive this. That's why saving money feels like starving yourself. Not metaphorically, neurologically. Your brain was built for a world that hasn't existed in 12,000 years, and nobody updated the software.
Think about the last time you tried to cut back. Not a diet, a budget. You probably felt the same tight, anxious pull in your chest, the same obsessive checking, the same moment 3 days in where you fell off and spent more than you meant to, almost out of spite. That's not a coincidence. That's the same circuitry. Dr. Brian Wansink, a researcher who spent decades studying eating behavior at Cornell, found something almost embarrassing about human willpower. Restriction doesn't reduce desire. It amplifies it. Tell a person they can't have dessert, and dessert is suddenly all they think about. Tell a person they can't spend on anything fun this month, and suddenly every storefront becomes a referendum on their self-control. The brain doesn't experience restriction as discipline. It experiences restriction as scarcity. And scarcity, to a brain shaped by hundreds of thousands of years of unpredictable food supply, is an emergency. Here's where it gets stranger.
Anthropologist Marshall Salins spent years studying hunter-gatherer societies and found something that broke the assumptions people had about ancient life. These weren't desperate, starving people clawing for survival every day. In many cases, they worked fewer hours than a modern office employee. They ate when food was available, they rested when it wasn't. There was no concept of saving calories for next month, because calories didn't keep. There was no spreadsheet, there was no goal. There was just, now you have it, or you don't. Your ancestors' brains were optimized for a world of immediate consequence. Eat the fruit today, because it'll rot by tomorrow. Use the resource today, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. That instinct didn't disappear when humans invented currency. It just got rerouted. So when you try to delay gratification with money, the same way you'd try to delay it with food, your nervous system reacts the same way it would to actual hunger. Restricted, deprived, threatened. Ever wonder why a no-spend month feels less like empowerment and more like punishment? This is also why so many people binge spend after a strict budgeting streak. It's the financial version of a crash diet followed by a 2 a.m. trip to the fridge. Psychologist Brad Klontz, who has spent years researching what he calls money scripts, found that people don't actually make financial decisions from logic first. They make them from inherited emotional patterns, often formed in childhood, long before they understood what money even was. If you grew up watching a parent panic over bills, your brain may have encoded money itself as danger. If you grew up in abundance, your brain may have encoded spending as safety, as proof that the threat has passed.
Neither pattern is about math. Both are about survival memory. So when financial advice tells you to just spend less, it's a bit like telling a starving person to just want food less. It's not that simple, because the part of the brain doing the resisting isn't the same part of the brain in charge of long-term goals. That long-term, goal-oriented part is your prefrontal cortex. Slow, deliberate, future-focused. The part screaming, "We are in danger, fix this now," is older, faster. It doesn't do nuance. It does fight, flight, or spend. And under stress, the older system almost always wins. This is the part where, if you've made it this far, you're starting to notice something about your own spending. Maybe even something uncomfortable. If that's you, it might help to know you're not broken. You're not weak-willed. You're not bad with money. You're running ancient software in a modern economy, and it's been miscalibrated this whole time. If this is starting to reframe how you think about your own habits, that's exactly why this channel exists, to take complicated psychology and history and turn it into something useful for your actual life. If that's valuable to you, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, here's the twist almost nobody talks about. The same mechanism that makes saving feel like starving is also the mechanism that, once flipped, makes saving feel safe. Behavioral economist Richard Thaler, who won a Nobel Prize for showing how irrational humans actually are with money, found that people don't respond well to restriction. They respond well to redirection. In one of his most famous studies, employees who were asked to commit future raises to retirement savings, money they hadn't received yet, saved dramatically more than employees asked to cut their current paycheck. Same goal, same outcome, completely different feeling. Because nothing was being taken away. Nothing felt like loss. The brain's danger system never got triggered because there was no scarcity to react to. This is the modern mirror of that ancient hunter-gatherer instinct. Humans don't fear effort. They fear loss. Losing what you already have feels far worse to your brain than gaining the same amount would feel good. That's not opinion. That's measurable. Researchers have shown the pain of loss registers nearly twice as strongly as the pleasure of an equivalent gain. So a budget framed as "you can't have this anymore" triggers the same alarm as scarcity itself. But a savings plan framed as "this money never touches your hands in the first place" never triggers the alarm at all. It's the difference between telling your brain there's a famine and just quietly never mentioning food was on the table. This is why automated savings, money moved before you ever see it, works so much better than willpower ever could. You're not fighting your ancient brain. You're routing around it. So tonight, when you open that app and see the number that hasn't moved, maybe don't see it as failure. See it as a 5,000 generation old alarm system, doing exactly what it was built to do in a world it was never built for. The real answer was never about discipline. It was about understanding that you weren't starving yourself by saving. Your oldest instincts simply hadn't gotten the message that this time you'd survive either way.